Assalamualaikum, ladies and Assalamualaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Our first speaker will join us shortly. Please wait for a while. डॉक्टर अब्दुल रज़ाक आप अवेलेबल हैं इस वक्त? शुड वी स्टार्ट योर टॉक? तो काइंडली रिस्पॉन्ड.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी सर, मैं इस वक्त अवेलेबल. हेलो सर, आप सुन पा रहे हैं मुझे? हेलो.
ओके श्योर सर, हम फिर स्टार्ट करते हैं आपके साथ. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Starting with the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Umar Aftab, from the Department of Computer Sciences, Lahore Garrison University. And I extend a huge and warm welcome to all of our participants and our respectable guests from the Department of Computer Sciences, Lahore Garrison University. With pleasure, we all welcome you to the fourth National Conference of Computer Sciences and Information Technology. So today is our day two, and this is our session two. So let's begin our session by calling our first speaker. That is Dr. Abdul Razak. I should probably give a brief introduction. That he is Assistant Professor of Department of Computer Sciences at University of Agriculture, Multan. He is also HEC approved supervisor. He completed his PhD in computer sciences from Beijing Normal University, China. His research interests are 3D model creation and animation, digital image processing, natural language processing, and machine learning. He has done funded research project along with his publication list consists of many indexed and impact factor journals. Sir, so over to you and you can proceed your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for my brief introduction. Thank you very much. First of all, I would also like to thank you for an excellent conference organizing the National Conference of the Computer Science Information Technology of the Lahore Garrison University. I'm very thankful for all of you, and especially for organizers and the people who invite me and give me opportunity to talk in this excellent conference. Thank you. So now we start our conference talk. Have you seen the presentation? Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. We can see your presentation. Please continue.
So that's the very interesting topic, and it's also luckily I'm the part of agriculture university. So for a computer scientist and IT graduates and software engineer, like the people who are related to computers, is a good opportunity to develop some product and to address the challenges an agriculture faces. In this talk, I am talking about the connected agriculture. There's a future of Pakistan agriculture through smart technologies, through smart devices. So, the brief contents of my presentations. UN projection about population, UN food and organization agriculture, Pakistan agriculture sector contribution and its challenges. We also discuss what is connected agriculture, and we will discuss connected agriculture market and how the connected agriculture is growing fastly in the world. And then we will also talk about the Pakistan perspective. In connected agriculture is IoT contribution in connected agriculture, or the application of connected agriculture, or the improve agriculture through different devices. Then the blockchain technology in agriculture, connected agriculture, Pakistan its needs, and the at the end we will discuss some benefits and opportunity for the computer science graduates to how to take part in agriculture sectors. Then UN projection. As you know, according to UN projection, world population is growing rapidly, increasing rapidly, and maybe it reach 8.5 billion in 2030, and in 2050 it will be reached 9.7 billions. This is a huge population. How we can feed this large peoples? So there is need to some improvement in their agriculture sector to feed the foods, to grow the product, to minimize the losses in the agriculture. So this is some projection about populations. And similarly, UN Food and Agriculture Organization also has the same type of discussion to meet the demand of such growing population that we discussed in previous slide. Farming agriculture companies are turning to use technology for this great production capability to feed the peoples, to grow a very fast product for the peoples because their population is increasing very rapidly. So need to boost worldwide food production by 70% in the next several decades. Agriculture business seeks to maximize yield. They need to minimize cost. That cost will be a pre-production cost, in-production cost, and after-production cost. They need to reduce their environmental footprints. In in this scenario, climate is change rapidly. So there is also need some technological solutions, some smart solution to overcome these problems or to minimize the losses, different losses. So in Pakistan agriculture, as you all know that in Pakistan, agriculture sector is contribute 20% in overall economy of the country. It's the great contribution of agriculture in Pakistan. And if we're talking about the world ranking, the country number 4th cotton in the world, in 9th in the wheat, and 11th in the rice production. Pakistan and also 25 million people in Pakistan. This is related to the agriculture. They are earning some money. They are a source of income of agriculture. So in above scenario, there is some challenges. That is a high cost of production and continuously hunting. They remain big challenging of farming community in Pakistan. And the climate is is a global phenomenon. It is rapidly changes occurs in climate change. So in all scenario, there is need to explore possibility and how technology could be used to overcome cost production, climate change, and other related big issues that the agriculture or the farmer community faces. So that's the motivation behind this talk. We need to use smart agriculture technologies, smart farming technologies, and precision agriculture technologies to overcome these challenges, to solution of the growing, because the people are rapidly, population of the increasing very rapid. So to meet the demand of farmer fields and to minimize the losses and to increase the production, to improve their yield of the, so need to ICT technologies to use for agriculture. So my presentation is main focus on connected agriculture, also got smart agriculture. Actually, what is connected agriculture? Connected agriculture is the advanced technology solutions to improve and manage, control the farming activities involving pre-production, in production, and post-production. Connected different. There is different devices to connect in farming in field to minimize their losses. Connected agriculture mainly major 4 steps, that is data sensing, how data collect from their field, from their different farms. So there's a lot of technology need in these areas. And also, if we collect the data, then we also need to how to communicate with the data. That is the different organization, different telecom industries working in these areas, how to notify their, how to intimate their product losses, how to monitoring their losses, how to cover, how to the health assessment. They also need a data communication technology and data storage. As you know, the data is a big data is also a challenge. So we also need how to manage the data and data processing and how to extract information and useful information from the data. So this is all about the connected agriculture. In figure you have seen there is a different devices that are connected to the plant. There may be a different apps needed, different IoT-based solution are needed to overcome these problems.
So, ladies and gentlemen, due to some network problem, Dr. Abdul Razak is unable to join us. So, we will proceed to our next presentation. Okay, so we should probably proceed to our next presentation. I would like to call our next speaker. He is Dr. Rafakat Hussain Kazmi from IUB Bhavatpur. So let me give a brief introduction of him. So he's assistant professor at Department of Computer Sciences, Islamic University Bhavatpur. He did his PhD in software engineering and CS from University of Technology, Malaysia. His research interests are software engineering, software project management, cryptography, cybersecurity, information security, software architecture and design, unified process design patterns, UML and requirement engineering research methods, data analytics, system literature review methods, statistic analytics and design for qualitative research, recommender systems, and deep learning and optimization method, and quite much more. He is an MS supervisor as well, and he has supervised many prestigious projects. And his list of publication consists of many index and impact factor research article publication. So over to you, sir. You can proceed to your presentation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you so much for inviting me on such a uh, good forum. Really happy to see as so many young researchers on this forum, and I'm really thankful to the organizing committee and the volunteers who are organizing this wonderful event. And can you people hear me? May I share my presentation?
Yes, sir. You are completely audible.
Thank you so much. May I share my presentation?
Yes, sir. Over to you.
Is my presentation is visible to the participants?
Yes, sir. Your presentation is
Thank you
visible.
so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you so much, all participants. I'm Dr. Fakat Hussain Kazmi. I'm working as assistant professor, Department of Software Engineering, Islamia University, Bahawalpur. I did my PhD from University Technology, Malaysia in year 2017. I am sharing the research project which was jointly completed with University Technology Malaysia and the Google and the Ministry Science Malaysia. This project was basically on large scale reusable testing in web-based applications and mobile applications. The topic was effective regression test case selection techniques using weighted average scoring method. So the agenda of my presentation is a brief introduction, the project research question, research objectives, the literature review conducted for this project, research methodology, results, evaluation, contributions, and publications which we made uh, from this project. So, testing is always a very crucial part of all types of the software development activities. It normally consumes more than 80% of the resources and the effort of the development team, and the success or the failure of our software product is solely based on our testing activities which we conduct during and after the deployment of our software application. Uh, so keeping in view the cruciality and the criticalness of this phase of the software development, we try to reduce this pain of the tester and try to increase the probability of the success of the software products by this project. Basically, when we were working on this project, we have two phenomena under study. One was continuous delivery, which is known as CD, like Facebook, Twitter, Google is continuously adding their uh, releases, software updates to their current application. So it is a phenomena in which the application is running on the user side, and at the same time it is developed by the developers, and it is under test by the testing teams, and under review by the quality assurance teams. So first challenge was we maintain the pace of the development activities, and we also try to facilitate the user a hassle free usage of the system. So usability was another thing which we try to maintain. So instead of testing the whole application, we try to retest or the selective part of the product testing. So the regression testing, which is known as the selective retesting of the system or the component, to verify that the modifications have not caused unintended effects and behaviors. Behavior is also software product behavior was also an other challenge at that time, because the function testing is sometime easy for the testers because it is based on the code, but the behavior testing is based how the software will behave on the user side. So in the graph uh, on my presentation, we just trying to show the complexity of this testing, where version 1 has, let's say, one functionality and version 2 has the two functionalities. The second functionality, which is mentioned here by F2, is newly added, but F1 is the part of the previous version. So now in version 2, the challenge is how to test F1 and how to test F2. For F2 part, we normally takes the classic testing strategies like unit testing, integration testing, system testing. But for F1, if we test it all, we, for our point of view, we are wasting our resources. So for F1, we try to design the techniques to retest it with minimum possible resources and with minimum possible testing effort. So for testing of the F1, we actually working with the regression testing. And as much as the different modules or different releases are added in this current product, like version 3, version 4, version 5, the role of the regression testing is increased with the pace of the development. And because we try to satisfy our customers, our users. So again, the role of the regression testing is a bit crucial and a bit tedious. So this is basically the significance of our activities, how it should be started, and in which phases of the software engineering it should supports. Like in classic software development cycles, we have testing requirements. We need to satisfy the matrices. We need to test our code. We need to test our design, and we need to satisfy and release multiple releases of the products during one day or in a week. And we need to maintain our production cycle. We need to maintain our risk management policies, and we need to configure our applications. So all these activities input into our regression test case selection strategies, and these activities, sports maintenance activities, quality activities, transitions activities, deployment activities, user training activities, user upgrades, reliability activities, and our version control system. But there are the two challenges which we are showing. Cost of our regression test case selection technique, which is I previously mentioned, it almost takes 80% of the resources. So it is a very big cost. And if we just save 10% or 20% of the cost, it should be used in our normal software development activities, or it should be added into the software profits which large organizations are expecting from our product. The second challenge, effectiveness of our technique. If we blindly select our test cases for our previously developed application, maybe they should be counterproductive, or they are not fulfilling the desired agendas of the software development team. So there should be some strategy, or there should be some policy, or there should be some technique which supports or which reduces the costs and which guarantees the effectiveness. If we look on the Agile manifesto, there are two very basic things. We have to manage the changes whenever and wherever they should be required, and we have to accommodate our customer in our development activities. So modern software development needs new or the modern way of the software testing. Classic testing may not fulfill our requirements or the pace of the software development. So the research questions which we try to address in this research, we first focus on is the relationship between the effectiveness and the adequacy criteria. Adequacy criteria means the cost of our testing activities, the coverage, which is basically how much code we have to test during our testing cycle, and the fault detection ability, which is compared with the previous known faults and the future faults which maybe we found. And we just try to understand, or we just try to establish a relationship between these advocacy criterions quantitatively. And second RQ was the which is the part of the first RQ is the suit size. Like we have 100,000 test cases for version 1, then how much test cases we need to be selected from these 100,000 test cases for version 2. So the number of the test cases in the test suite correlated with the fault detection ability of the same suite. The RQ 1.2 is the test suite coverage, how much code is covered by our test cases, correlated with the fault detection ability. If we test 100 lines of code, can return 10 faults. Is it mean if we test 200 lines of code means we will be back with 20 faults? Is there any relationship with the lines of code and the faults detected, or it is unpredictable? The RQ 1.3 is the test suite coverage correlated with the fault detection ability. Again, the volume of the code and the fault we have detected, is there some sort of a relationship with them, or it is again some unpredictable agenda? Research question 2 was, is there any process, is there any guideline to use the test cases selection parameters like cost, like coverage, like fault detection ability? Research question 3 was, can statistical data of test case effectiveness measure used as the single objective test case selection? Actually, the problem is, if we use cost as our selection parameter, then what is the effect of it on the coverage side, and what is the effect of it on fault detection ability of our test cases? But if we combine two parameters like cost and coverage, then what will be the effect on fault detection ability? But here we try to combine these three parameters for single selection criteria. Like in cricket team, when we select a cricket team, we consider so many, not like we need a wicket keeper, we need 4 5 bowlers, we need 4 5 batsmen, but we try to get the all rounders. So same philosophy we try to use here. We need the test cases who satisfy the cost challenge, who satisfy the coverage challenge, who satisfy the fault detection ability challenge. Specialist test cases are required, but as much as we can select all-rounder test cases, they should more productive for our short-term testing cycle, because we are not trying to handle the full-fledged test cycle, but we are trying to reduce the test cycle, and we are trying to maintain the fault detection ability of our test cases, and we are trying to reduce the cost and trying to increase the coverage of our test suits. So is there any framework or the mechanism to combine cost, coverage, fault detection ability, and code change information to the test cases? Second phenomena, code changes, which is the fourth actually parameter. How much code of the previous version is used in the future version, and what type of the changes we made into the code? This is also a crucial decision for a tester, to test this code or to skip this code. So we add this fourth parameter also here. So RQ 3.2 is weighted average scoring impact on the test suite size. If we weight each parameter, then what type of the weighting criteria we need to use, and what is the impact on the size of the test suite which we select for our future version? So these were the research objective: to identify the relationship between the effectiveness of the test cases with adequacy criteria, to investigate the effectiveness measures of the test case selection techniques and propose some guideline which previously was not available for their usage in regression testing, to propose a framework which establish the relationship between the test case effectiveness and adequacy of the selection techniques, to develop a test case selection technique based on proposed framework, and statistical evaluation of data. Here I would like to clear few concepts. Testing is the activity in which we have so many numbers, how many test cases we run, how much code size we have which we need to test, what time frame imposed on this testing activity, which type of the bugs we count, what type of the faults we have during the testing cycle, and what type of the user feedback we collected during the testing cycle. our testing cycle and our testing, these numbers were ignored. We never try testing as statistical activity. But so in this research, we try to conduct testing as a statistical activity, and we try to look on the testing as a statistical activity. We play with the numbers, we try the numbers, and we get the numbers, and with those numbers we try to improve our future testing strategies, and our goal was to reduce the overall cost of software testing activity. So the literature review, we try a new type of a literature review, which was the systematic literature review method, which was adopted by from the medical science and clinical research. A review protocol and research strategy was designed, inclusion and exclusion filters were created, papers from valid and quality sources were accepted, studies were classified, and issues were summarized. So after conducting the literature review, which I mentioned, we will choose systematic literature review. We found that there were 5 families of the regression test case selection techniques. There were 10 testing levels. There were 9 system types, or the environments on which regression testing techniques were already applied. There were 3 fault types which were covered during regression testing. There were 7 cost measures which were studied by different researchers. There were 13 coverage measures which were already used in testing and selection approaches. There were 5 fault measures, and there were 11 matrices which were used to evaluate these strategies. These are the actually graphs which I already show in this table. They are here. We show those proportions. There were 3 fault types, like mutation faults were found in 33% studies, code changes were in 16% studies, and structural changes like loops, if else, and switches, there 51. And all these graphs are shown here. So the cost measures which we have measuring the cost of the analysis, it is also considered as cost: test suit size, test suit execution time, defect discovery time. These are actually considered as the cost measures. There were 13 coverage measures like statement coverage with fault history, statement coverage, branch coverage with fault decision capability, and 13 are listed here. There were 5 fault types like fault detection rate, failure frequency rate, fault detection capability, defect discovery time, fault revealing capability. These were actually the measures by which we classify our test cases, how much they can have the potential to detect some type of a fault. This is actually a 3D graph which showing how much what type of the evaluation criterions and what type of the collaboration between the advocacy measures were used by the researchers in this domain. Like the researchers were using F measure, inclusiveness, recall, precision, retest all, and accuracy, FDR. These all are the techniques to evaluate the testing techniques capability. And on y-axis there is the number of the advocacy criterions used by different researchers. Like few researchers used only 1 criteria, few used 2 criteria, few used 3 criteria, but no one was trying to use 4 criteria to select the test cases, which was a good point for this research which we were conducting for regression testing. These are the research gaps and the family tree of the regression test case selection. Test data analysis is one type, code slicing is another type for regression testing. Model based testing was, and test tube machine learning types are available. And we actually try to design a new technique. So we use few concepts from test data analysis techniques, code selection techniques, coverage-based techniques, textual differencing technique, and graph-based approaches, and testing costs, and then techniques to design a new tech. And again, I would like to mention here, we skip the machine learning side because they should take more time. They should not believe on numbers. They should actually consumes more resources, computational resources, and uh, as compared to the statistical methods. And why we use why we do it, because we believe that testing is a number game. Testing relies on the inputs, and testing delivers us the numbers, testing input with the numbers. So we try to look this testing activity as a number game. Instead, we not use the machine learning techniques. So these are the methods which were already proposed by different researchers, like model-based testing, testing oracles, test data analysis techniques, mutation testing techniques, non-dominant genetic algorithm scoring methods were also there, and so many other techniques were there. Our research methodology was uh, technically based on four things: test problem, test model, system under test, and data set are the product which we try to test. And then we apply our advocacy criteria. Then we decide our testing level, like we try unit testing, or we try integration testing, or we would try to system testing, we or any other type. And we try to choose the fault types, like structural faults, or the mutation faults, or hand-seeded faults. And then finally we apply our evaluation matrices. This is our research design. This is actually the activity I previously tried to elaborate for you people. This is our relationship of the research questions with our research objectives. And then we design our experiments. We select some programs, we write for the test suits for them, and we apply our tools like JUnit, ACL, code coverage, PIT for our four measures which I previously described. JUnit return us the time, ECLEMA return us the coverage, and fault detection ability. Somehow code cover is also give us a few more granularity level of coverage, like statement coverage was returned by the ECLEMA, and statement coverage with fault detection ability was returned with code coverage. And then for the mutation faults we try PIT, and then we collect code coverage mutation reports, and then we analyze them. These were actually the data sets: JFree chart, Apache POI, JMeter, JTopus we use, and these numbers are representing their different statistical numbers. Data sets, we try to evaluate them. During time we use two versions. They have 100,000 plus lines of code. We use 2200 LOC, and then we use 116 LOC triangles, and we write them to 79 test cases for Joda time, 22 test cases for data tree data structure, and 12 test cases for the triangles. Then we propose on the results of these experiments, we propose the guideline. It is appropriate to design the regression test case selection experiment with testing level. A lot of studies skip this parameter. They should not consider what type of the level of the testing they are actually executing, or maybe they were not reporting it. The structural coverage and the code modifications may not use in place of the fault types. These three types are equally important. So we need to focus on structural coverage, we need to focus on code modification, and fault types are a different parameter. So we have to combine them, or we focus all three equally. And RTS experimental studies must be designed to uncover the faults. The main agenda of testing is always the faults. If some technique is uh, some technique is not identifying faults, either it is a very good technique, it should not be acceptable. And uh, after these guidelines, actually we then compare our techniques, our proposed technique, and we found that our technique is uh, uh, reducing the test suite size more than 30%, and our technique is actually covering or maintaining the code coverage parameter with previous techniques. And uh, experiment results, test suite size has the medium to very high correlation. If the number of the test cases are added in a test suite, the probability of finding the new faults will be increased. But we try to find a number or the level where we have the maximum fruits for code coverage parameter, and we have the minimum cost as well. So we try to maintain this parameter. The coverage types also are very important, but for the statement coverage and the complex coverage types have almost the same number of detection capabilities. So we use the linear fault coverage types instead of the complex coverage types. Algorithm which we combine, we actually customize and give the freedom to our testers to combine with their requirement for the testing cycle. And then we evaluate our technique with fault relieving test cases, modification relieving test cases, non-modification relieving test cases. And then we again conduct a second experiment which reduce the test cases uh, more than 50% as compared to the previous experiment again. And then we evaluate our technique with the previous researchers which already did the experiments in our domain, and we found that we have 37% size reduction we achieve as compared to the previous researchers. We maintain or reduce 29% test suite sizes for our Joda time, and we were equal in small application, which was triangle. It was only 22 test cases. And again, uh, we have good numbers for inclusiveness here as well. Here we compare our technique with the previous researchers, and finally we propose a guideline which is for somehow is a contribution. We find a relationship between these four parameters which were not available in research before. We propose a framework which was 13% to 37% more effective. We have a technique proposed which is 5% to 33% more effective as compared to other reduction techniques. We have four contributions. We propose a guideline, we find a relationship, we propose a, and we design a new regression test case selection technique. Thank you so much. And I'm again very much thankful for the organizers. And I'm also very thankful to my listeners who spare their time and uh, join us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We're very honored to have you here today with us, and thank you for sharing your prestigious work with us. So Dr. Abdul Razak is back online. Sir, would you like to continue your presentation again?
Yes, sure. Thank you. Sorry for inconvenience. Now we will continue again. Have you seen presentation?
Yes, sir, your presentation is visible.
Okay. Okay. So we will continue once again. Sorry for there is an internet issue in my side. Uh, so we're talking about connected agriculture market size. I mean, what will be in the future and in present situation, what is connected agriculture contributed in economy of the different countries. In 2020, the market share for IoT in agriculture reached 5.6 billion. Total addressable market for smart agriculture is expected to grow from US dollar 13.7 billion to 15 to 26.8 billion by 2020, which is a compound annual growth rate. So sir, there is a great opportunity and there is a great potential in smart agriculture technologies to adopt in agriculture for increasing their productions. So IoT, there is a different devices that is different field of computer science and information technology to which are contributing in connected agriculture. So one of them is the IoT contribution in connected agriculture. As a computer scientist, you know what is an IoT is connected devices and automation finds an application in agriculture. IoT can address agriculture-based issues and increase the quality and quantity of agriculture productions, making farm more intelligent and more connected. By using various smart agriculture gadgets, farmers have connected grow. They can get their information from the crop, they get information from the health of the plants, and make precise predictions, improve their efficiencies, and improve their monitoring systems through IoT devices. So there are some IoT-based smart farmings. A system is built for monitoring the crop field, which is helper sensors. There's different sensor, humidity sensor, temperature sensor, moisture sensor for automating, and also for irrigation for automatic irrigation systems. If they need the water, then there will be available some devices for IoT-based smart farmings. Farmer can monitor their field condition from anywhere in the high efficiencies using IoT-based smart devices. The application of IoT-based smart farming is effective conventional farming because we're talking about the smart farming rather than the conventional farmings. There is also different IoT contributions in this smart agriculture, high quality seed identifications, high quality information extraction from the data. So IoT-based application in connected agriculture. There are several applications of IoT-based and ICT-based application in agricultures. Several IoT-based applications in connected agriculture are designed to enhance productivity. Major application, some of them listed here for smart agriculture, precision farming, smart irrigation systems, agriculture drones, smart greenhouses, soil moisture systems, yield monitoring system, precision livestock farmings, and animal animal trackers and animal health assessment systems. So high performance farming, precision farming is the now is the time is the precision where we need to what fertilizer we need, what soil we need, what water consumption we needed. So there's a high precision farmings, and high precision farming actually a smart farming means that plant and animal get treatment precisely when they need and determine with their accuracy, great accuracy using technologies. So Farmers have already begun employing some height technology farm, but there is also a lot of gap, a lot of potential to adopt these high precision farmings through ICT technologies, through different robotics, so sensor technologies. Livestock monitoring system is also an IoT used in this area. A livestock monitoring system in cattle watch using some sensors to get the data they're tracking, and now is working on the different early disease detection system. Some of my students working on these systems. Cloud computing for agriculture reduce the cost because in the big data, so there is no need any lot of computers and networks. There is a cloud application for agriculture also. Cloud services can often customize and flexible to user and provide can offer advanced services. Ability to add storage as needed to reduce application data and hardware can be used from Blue Cloud as well as services. So there's a cloud application is also in agriculture. Agriculture drones, the different applications in agriculture sectors, optimize agriculture operations, increasing crop production, using a spray. They're different, and we get the data from the. We have also an drone agriculture in our university. Get the data from the field and apply some image processing techniques to get the useful information in the health assessment and counting and how many plants in the field. So monitoring crop health and sensor and digital image capability can give farmers picture of their fields. In drone technology, we can also use for counting the plants in the. This is also a major contribution because if there is a lot of plants in their field, maybe they are at the end their production will yield loss. So there is a need some gap between them. So this is also used for image processing and for counting product and for spray. Smart greenhouses is also there are different sensor-based technology and IoT-based technology developed for automatic monitoring, automatic irrigations, and indoor smart things for measuring the humidity, air pressure, temperatures, and different alerts generate to the owners and farmers and growers for their health, for their crop health in the through remotely they can monitor their assessment of their smart greenhouses. So blockchain technology in agriculture. So is also an emerging field because there is a lot of data need to secure from the different hackers and from different crimes, cyber crimes. So there is also need a blockchain technology, especially in transactions and some useful information that we also can be used in a blockchain technology in agriculture. The rise of blockchain technology is making easy way to IoT and could be important in farming sector due to the ability to provide companies with important data on the crops. Blockchain also include identify factors as salt and sugar contents and pH levels in their soil and their products. So smart monitoring system for connected agriculture. There is some sensor-based systems dipped in the field, and we can get the data through sensors and get the data from different cameras. So and then processing on data and compare with this conventional farming is more better than conventional farming. Soil and water monitoring connected in agriculture. Soil, medium, and water monitoring media of the soils and temperature, humidity for best growing conditions. Monitor water quality including pH, connectivity, temperature, dissolve oxygens. Provide optimal setting and sending warning message and notification message. View historical store data and produce crop to views trends. This is also important. We can get the data from the field through sensors, and then we can retrieve the information that is useful information, and we can view the trends from the data which they are growing in agriculture sectors. Irrigation systems in connected agriculture, drip irrigation, the sensor-based irrigations. One of the students in my university has developed irrigation systems, irrigation gate that will be need. If they need, then the water will be flow. So this sensor-based technology is also used in nutrient efficiency and adjustment systems. Nutrient solution adjustment, real-time monitoring of the various conditions mean that change can be measured and the symmetry and this can be measured. If there is some deficiency in the plant leaves and food, then they will ultimately aware that there is some nutrient deficiencies according to the crop requirements. So if we are talking about a connected agriculture in Pakistan perspectives, although government of Pakistan, especially government of Punjab, is working on this with PITB Alliance and different communication there's a telecom industries working that for connected agriculture. So Pakistan farmers were also used to agriculture approach to achieve food and deployment goal in changing climates and rising their product to achieve smart agriculture is the essence of modern farming. There is a many methods introducing in agriculture increase yield and increase productions. Modern farming is growing and developing for the commercialized crops. In Pakistan, there's many examples. I have select one of them. There's a Telenor Pakistan launching connected agriculture platform for farmers. There's a CAP, this connected agriculture. There Punjab Agriculture Department and with Punjab Information Technology Board, they're connected. They have developed some apps and some website information, some resources. Then the digital solution that improve their access to information. So Pakistani government, especially Punjab government agriculture department, also working on telecom industries to farming communities. But there is also a need to more emphasize on this. Workers are very less. Although Mobling is also working on this technology like Kassan, those, but we need to more in these areas. Access to information, financial resources. So some of the benefits and opportunity of connected agricultures. For computer science graduates and others, we need to develop some agriculture products. I have seen some product from the nurse developing, but we also working on that. But because there is a lot of potential for IT graduates to develop a product and service for agriculture. So some of the benefits and opportunity I have listed here. That increase productions. This is the how to increase the production in agriculture through smart technology, water conservation. As you know, water is reducing day by day, so we need some smart technologies in water conservation, real-time data collection and processing, real-time. We can view the data flows with different artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithm. We can view inside the data what they have inside in data to find the trends. Lower operation cost, increasing quality of the production through seed technologies. We can assess the seed, we can leave health diseases. So there is a various applications and various benefit and various opportunity for here in Pakistan for agriculture perspective using technologies. So agriculture farming and field analysis, enhanced livestock farming, reduce environment footprint, and remote monitoring. So there's some opportunity and some benefit opportunity for agriculture for IT graduates to work in these domains. So at the end, I have discussed one of my project of my student, which we presented in Microsoft Amazon Cup, and fortunately, Microsoft Provincial assessment was held in Lahore Garrison University. So I'm happy to announce that we are the third winner of the Microsoft at national level using this product, because they endorse smart farming by inducing artificial climate for optimal nutrition. So one of the students have worked on this project. He developed artificial chambers using sensor, using different technologies. He's a computer science student, but he developed chambers, which is a very good contribution in agriculture, which although it is working is continue on this, but there's a good opportunity for graduate students to work in this domain. So in this chambers, artificial climate chamber has been designed and developed for plant which provide artificial climate and optimal plant conditions and recipient to plants. A plant develop optimal condition of plant for their growing. And this intelligent system provide aid in speed breeding procedures through inducing a various spectrum of light, because there's a different spectrum of light. We can adjust it automatically and maybe according to their need, the recipe and the nutrient that the plant needs, they automatically increase their diet and like this one. So the objective of this system is to develop intelligent and user-friendly interactive system for remote monitoring to reduce labor cost and human interaction through IoT-based smart farming to generate optimal growth conditions to achieve the crop potentials in optimal duration, and also provide a artificial climate for this for the growth of the plant. We can also show there's different off-season crops in these chambers. It's a good result. It's a satisfactory result. It's not we can in the process of publication, and it will be available for that what we can get from. So there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of potentials for IT graduates to work in these areas. Thank you very much for your time, comments, and suggestion, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable work with us. And we're very privileged to have you here today with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, moving forward, I'm going to invite our next speaker, that is Dr. Abdul Hafiz. So, Dr. Abdul Hafiz did his PhD in Information Technology from the Kudiya of Information and Communication Technology, is International Islamic University, Malaysia. He is currently working as a senior assistant professor with the Department of Computer Sciences, Bahrain University, Lahore. His research areas are ICT-based educational technology, management usability, software engineering management. He has almost 20 years of experience in teaching, research, and management in these areas as well. He is an author of more than 20 research articles for various very pronounced journals and conferences. And he has also written a chapter in the book. And he is also reviewer of IEEE, IS, and Scoopers Bay International Journal. So, Dr. Abdul Hafiz, over to you. You can start your presentation. Dr. Abdul Hafiz, would you like to uh, start your presentation? Dr. Abdul Hafiz will join us later. Let's proceed towards our next speaker. I would like to introduce Dr. Fahim Mushtaq. He's working as a head of Department of Information Technology at Khwaja Farid University of Engineering and Information Technology, Rahim Yar Khan. He completed his PhD in Information Technology from University of Tun Hussein on Malaysia. He is also a reviewer of IEEE Access Journal and International Journal of Advanced Computer Science and Application. Dr. Kim has actually many prestigious articles and publications in his name that are published on various reputable journals. And sir, would you like to continue your presentation, please?
Yes, sure.
Okay, over to you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, dear all. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers and Lahore Grizan University for the invitation in fourth National Conference of computer science and information technology. Indeed, it is a great forum to present this talk. Uh, Now I move to the today talk and share my screen. I'm also thankful for the brief introduction to the organizer. Uh, Today, we are going to discuss the importance of cybersecurity. As all of you people know, IT security is an ongoing set of processes and activities that require attention and expertise on daily basis. It is important to understand systems are not secure by themselves, and it is our responsibility to maintain and improve them periodically as required time to time. It is vital importance to establish the appropriate mechanism and requirement in order to support the company's CIA trade. Cybersecurity strategy prevents unauthorized access to organizational assets such as computers, networks, and data. It maintains the integrity and confidentiality of sensitive information, blocking the access of sophisticated hacker. As the hacker gets smarter, the need to protect your digital asset and network devices is even greater. For the today talk, firstly, we will discuss the introductory part of cybersecurity. After that, we will discuss and I explain you some the common threats. And thirdly, we will see the global cyber threat and its effects are also discussed. Further, we will talk about the cyber defense from system to network. And finally, I will present you some data that I gather for those who are interested in further study or update knowledge in the field of cybersecurity. Firstly, what does secure mean? And how do we protect our most valuable asset? Actually, the data is likely your most valuable and vulnerable strategic asset. And yet many of the methods for storing and protecting it are decade old. Data is not only a record of what has happened, it can also be used to anticipate the future and train machine to make human-like decision in an instant. It also becomes a fungible and strategic asset that drives key processes. As the importance and dimension of data in organization have grown, it also become greater target for malicious actors. The way that we use data today require not just a new security mindset, but also a new skill set and new technology around the data management. Here, the figures show the different way to protect our valuable assets. So here is the some example, some important application that used to secure the information, such as the online banking, where we need to secure the digital cash login information, and you will see the economy where we need to uh, secure our valuable data, including the mobile phones, games, DVD players, TV. Similarly, if we move to the military sector, where we need to secure communications channels, weapon system code, and identification front end for This is also very good comparison where show the protecting money was the protecting information. In terms of size and portability, we see that the bank have a very large size because where we have to protect not only the money, your systems, your people, those who are working, but only it is protected by the guards. But if we see the sites that are very small and portable, if we compare in terms of value of asset, where we see the money has the high value, on the other hand, the variables from very low to high. Thirdly, we compare on the basis of ability to avoid physical contact. On one side, extremely difficult to steal money from bank, but if the our valuable asset in the electronic nature, on the other hand, we can see that it's very extremely simple how we have to assess if it is in electronic nature. Question arises how well the information is protected. We have a false sense of security and that we actually secure our data. Here even you see the figure where we just have we do not close the door habs, but we just have lock show that we have locked the door. Similarly, in the electronically data, if you are going to manage your personal accounts or any social media account, where we use normally if we are a new user, we use very general passwords. Here are some examples from 2011 to 15. We are using very simple password where the attacker can easily be accessed and can hack or attack on your system. What is cyberspace? Information can come in any form, be it electronic or material, or even as the knowledge of personal. In order to ensure and maintain information security, information in all formats need to be protected from threat and threat source of any kind, including physical, human, and technology-related threat. While the cybersecurity may involve the security of cyberspace itself, cyberspace is actually the network where all the computer devices that are connected, and that's why uh, if the devices are connected using any network or any medium, then it is easy for the attacker to access your system. That's why most organizations are concerned with the protection of their own cyber system from cyber threats. Both of these concerns are within the scope of definition of cybersecurity. Cyber threat are those that arises via the cyberspace and are therefore a kind of threat that any cyber system can expose to. Any kind of system, including here some examples I have mentioned: essential databases, transportations, energy, power, water, sewerage, nuclear power plants, any military network, etc. Such threat may target information assets, like I example quoted, which is why information security is important part of cybersecurity. However, the cybersecurity addresses only those information assets that can be targeted via a cyberspace. I want to add that cybersecurity is not limited to the protection of information assets alone. Here are the some terminologies that use in cybersecurity, includes the vulnerabilities, attacks, threat, risk, malware, cyber attack, and cyber weapon. These are very basic terminologies that we use in the cybersecurity. The aim of the cyber attacks includes two type of different attacks. First is passive and other is active. In passive attack, the attacker observe the message. It may copy them and may use them for malicious purpose. And it is danger for the confidentiality. The passive attacks include the dropping, data exfiltration, and detect remote location, whereas the active attacks in which the attacker tried to modify the content of message. If it tried to modify it, it means that it's dangerous for the integrity. Also, as well as the attacks include in active attacks, which is the data loss. It means that it is also dangerous for the availability of the information whenever the authorized recipient can access their valuable information. Here you can see that these mountains, it looks very small outside the surface of seawater. But if we see the effect of these mountains, in other words, we say that the attack, we see that in under the root, it's very dangerous, and it may affect on your whole system. It may destroy your whole system. Cyber weapon economics include normally what we can do, that we have invest a lot of cost on the to purchase bomb fighters, missiles to fight with the other country or XYZ, okay, and invest a million or billion of cost. But on the other side, we see that if we use the cyber weapon cost, which is very small, within $300 to $50, and you believe that you can believe it can render all above system useless. This is also the figure show the example of previous slide where we discussed the we are investing on huge cost on the weapons and soldiers, but on the other side we are not focusing on the attacker who attack your system and destroy your all the systems. Now we will discuss some cyber threats. First question is, who is vulnerable? Any system that is connected to the network, we say that is vulnerable. This system includes the financial institution, banks, internet service provider, pharmaceutical companies, government and defense agencies, contractor to various government agency and multinational corporations. All the systems that are connected to the network which is vulnerable. Here are the common cyber threats. Includes the from the social engineering, insider threat, vendor and employer. And the other side, if we see that technology-based threats, which are the key loggers, hacking, malicious code, weak algos, and DOS attacks. Briefly, we see that the most common insider threats, which includes the personal gain or personal gain, where what happened is to modify the confidential or your sensitive information. Secondly, the business advantage, where the trader can theft the trade sector or customer information, and it may use for their personal benefit, or may share with the any foreign government or agencies and any other organization. A third common thread, insider thread, include the sabotage of an organization data system or network. The solution is the segregation of duty, monitoring, irregular audit, if you want to save from the common insider thread. Here is the malwares, which is the software designed specifically to damage or disrupt the system. These malwares includes the virus, worm, Trojan horse, spyware, adware, scareware, and other malicious program. We will discuss in next slide briefly all these malwares, and also it can be in the form of executable code, script, and active content. Firstly, we see that the worms. Uh, uh, Worms include the automatic propagation without human assistance. And whereas you will see that the virus, which is the human assisted propagation, it may generate through the email. We can send the attachment, and anyone can open the attachment. It may damage your system, your local machine. It will affect your software that you are using, etc. Here, the another malware include the backdoor. Um, Backdoor includes the which can get the unauthorized system to your system, and can maybe it can do unwanted action, unwanted activities that you didn't want. Uh, Another one is logging bump, which includes start when specific event occur. It relies a virus, worm, and other code to attack. Next is the Trojan. The name derived from the wooden horse left by the Greeks at the gate of Troy during the Siege of Troy. A Trojan horse program intentionally hide malicious activity while pretended to something else, usually described an innocence-looking and software delivered through innocuous means which added allowed to take control of system. Trojan horse program do not replicate themselves. Sometimes passes on using commonly passed executable things like jokes forwarded by email. Sometimes marketed or distributed as remote administration tool. Next is the remote access control, which include the which allow the criminal allow the criminal view, change, monitor, or record or control your computer through internet. And it includes, maybe it can search your files or may run or end your program that you are working. It may capture your videos while you are working with your secret work, or maybe you have to use your secret, you have to ready your secret information. Use your PC as a part of them by army or boat. Rootkit includes the program that maintain persistent and undetectable presence on the machine. It's also a type of malwares which can alter system utility or the operating system itself to prevent detection. For example, rootkit that infects the window process monitor utility, which lists currently running processes, could hide by removing itself from the process list. Likewise, a rootkit might hide files on disk by infecting utility that allow the user to browse files such as Window Explorer. Rootkit are often used to hide the malicious action of other type of malware such as Trojan horse and viruses. Next is the spywares with the name of spy. You understand that which spies on the user to collect info and display pop-up ads based on the collected information. Next one is the adware, which that is the software that display banner and pop-up ads on the computer, because sometimes you are using um, you are using any website where you find different links. If you open any link, it may appear any pop-up window that is not you're needful, but it may affect on your system or may get the control of your system. Here are some examples for the pop-up windows where you may all of you may have you seen when you are doing the browsing. Another one is the spam, junk, or unwanted email. You people have to check your spam email, or we can say unwanted email from your Gmail account as an example. And um, normally better to reduce this spam, to delete the junk email, don't reply to them, and don't give personal information, because sometimes they perceive that for example, they perceive that they are from banker, and they need your some information, your personal information. Maybe uh, uh, they say that you have to change your password. Maybe your information needed to verify your account. Maybe your information needed to reissue your credit card, XYZ, right? Next is the phishing attack, send fake requests as if from bank or other institution asking for the personal information. Next is the social engineering, use of social trick or psychologically to gain access to secure system. Here you can see that hacker call a company pretended to be employee in order to learn secret about the internal network. With this example, you see that all the apples are good, but here is one apple that is bad, who maybe leak your information. Now move to the global cyber attack. That are all I have compiled information from internet. I just briefly go through all these attacks. First one is the Stuxnet worm. May some of you people know that June 2010, the Iran nuclear plants are destroyed by the American and the Israel hackers, who can access their nuclear plants and destroy the 100 nuclear centrifuges. In December 2011, the US stream drone can be down on by the Iran hackers, and they can how they can downing they can jam the communication signal of the US drone that are based on the GPS navigation system. Next one attack include the Dragonfly that is happened on 2011 and 2013. Um, uh, these are the hackers from the Russian, who can control all these 84 American and European nations companies systems. Some of the examples are given here. Next is the denial of service attack, where the Israel jet bombs are suspected nuclear installation in northeastern Syria, among of many mysteries still surrounding that strike was the failure of Syrian radars supposedly state-of-art worm of Syrian military for incoming assault. Next, another one is Daniel service attack include a kill switch is any manipulation of chip software or hardware and that would cause the chip to die outright. The shut off an F-35 missile launching electronics. Here are the example. Next, another denial of service attack include the Trojan may affect the service by exhausting scarce resources such as bandwidth, computation, and battery power, and not that physical effect that desirable or alter the configuration of device could be temporary or permanent. Next, the leak of information, which include the information could be leaked by means such as radio frequency, optical, thermal power, and timing side channel, and also via interface such as RS-232. The last word, the only truly secure system is the one that powered off, cast in a block of concrete and sealed in a lead line room with arm guard, and even then I have my doubt. Here is the terminology for the cyber defense where we need to plan the beginning of most important part of the work because there is a time short and I want to briefly close this session and discuss all other slides. These are the terminology for the security, which include different type of security, including the physical security, personal security, and operating system, communication security, network security, and the information security. This is the very important question, why an organization needs security. They need security to protect their organization ability to function. Also, they need to protect their data or safeguard the technology asset that use in the organization. Here is the two different terminologies that use to balance the security, which is protection and availability. In terms of availability, have unrestricted access to the system. The system is available to anyone, anywhere, anytime, through any mean. If we see the complete protection on the other side, would not allow anyone access at any given time. Cybersecurity is like a brake in your car. Their function is to slow you down, but their purpose is to allow you to go fast. Cyber or information security include security is not about the people alone, processes, or the technology. Here are the key terminology of information security. CIA trade, where the confidentiality include the information that only authorized person can access that information, whereas the integrity include any unauthorized person, prevent from the unauthorized person who can modify your system. And third, the availability, where whenever the authorized recipient can want to access their information, it is available in any time. It may save from the DDoS attack. Finally, this is only data I have collected for those members who are interested for the cybersecurity field, which includes the different courses and certification. And I will share this slide to this forum. I hope that many of the people have get help from these PowerPoint slides, because it takes a lot of time to collect this data. Here are the video lectures, and that may helpful for the all the beginner or the advanced level people. Here are some guidelines, standards, and frameworks. Here are different webinars, blogs, and podcasts. And next is the tool and applications that used for that purpose. Here are some paper repositories that specifically for the cybersecurity area. Finally, I want to say thank to the Lahore Region University for this great event, and I also congratulate for that event. Thank you so much for the today's session. Jazakallah.
Thank you so much, sir, and I hope that the students will find our conversation and we talk very fruitful. And privilege of us to have you here today with us. And thank you for sharing your experience and your work with us. Okay, now we'd like to call our next speaker without wasting any further time. His name is Dr. Muhammad Usman Ashraf, and he's from UMT. He's assistant professor and head of software engineering department at University of Management and Sciences, Management and Technology, Salford. He did his PhD in computer sciences from King Abdul Aziz University, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. He is an HEC approved PhD supervisor. His research interests are high performance computing towards axial systems, parallel computing using MPI, OMP, CUDA, and OpenCC, OpenCL, PGAS, and secured location based services systems, ubiquitous computing for smart cities, privacy in recommender systems, and HPC strategy for different deep learning algorithms. He has received international student scholarship and he has supervised many prestigious MS projects. He has written 30 international publications in different various reputative journals and conferences. Sir, I would like you to begin your talk. And over to you, sir.
Hello. So, Omar, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are completely audible.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope you people can hear me properly. Actually, since morning, there was some issues in internet from my side, so that's why I just want to confirm it that if you can hear me properly.
Yes, sir, your voice is fine. You are
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, thanks to everyone and thanks to the organizing committee for giving this opportunity to share my ideas and about the research directions as well in high performance computing. And also thanks to the audience for being here. Okay, in today's talk, we will discuss about the high performance computing and its future directions. Definitely, this is not the new topic, but in emerging technologies, if we find the HPC, we can see HPC is playing a major role. So today, here we will discuss about the HPC role in current and emerging technologies as well. Then after that, I will share some ideas and some running projects which are being considered by different research and universities, research institutes. And also I will discuss about some the technologies which can be considered to adopt HPC systems. So this will be helpful for all current researchers and also bachelor and master and also PhD students who can start their work using HPC systems. Okay, first of all, leading to the computing system that focus on high computing performance and enhancement, basically toward high performance computing system or HPC system. First of all, it would be introduced that what is exactly high performance computing system. Basically, HPC systems are the computing system that lead to bring improvement in the system. System mean computers, which are being used currently by everyone. So with respect to the performance and with respect to the power consumption, which is the major challenge for the technologies and for the different domains. So HPC system is actually overcoming these two major issues, performance and the power consumption. So normally we consider the supercomputer systems and the parallel processing techniques when we talk about HPC systems. So the conventionally HPC systems are being used for to solve the complex problems, computational problems where massive computation is required. So it's very important because the researcher who have the problems to solve that will not fit in simple computers that we are using in our daily life. So normally, if we face a lot of issues like the most time of executions, and then we must move toward the HPC systems. If I talk about the HPC systems, which is what is exactly the current target of HPC systems, then it's moving toward exascale computing system. It means our exascale computer system will be such more powerful that can execute 10 raised to the power 18 number of flops instructions within a second. So this is really amazing. So probably it will be introduced in 2021. Most of the countries are in process, and they have claimed that they have proposed the exascale computing system, but this is still in beta version. So let's wait for the current, the actual launch of exascale computing system probably in 2021. So now let me move towards some important applications that can be used which are being used in HPC systems. So according to that, the very first one is, if I discuss about the healthcare system, it's very important even in every country where the medicines and computing are as intimately intertwined as the DNA double helix. So the computers already store, definitely, the computer is storing the confidential patient information and track vital signs and analyzing drug efficiency. But the rise of HPC, has allowed medical professions to digitize even more complex processes. So for example, like genome sequence and drug testing. So these are the very important points which are being addressed by HPC systems. Similarly, if I talk about another application, which is a Living Heart project, which is currently being running by Stanford University. And this is a very important application where researchers leverage HPC to create a virtual human heart. The virtual human heart is definitely being considered from the different research institutes, but its processing required a lot of resources, So those resources can be considered as high performance computing systems, because if we cannot compute our operations efficiently, so it will be meaningless. So HPC systems are only the solutions that can compute such the innovative research work, virtual human hearts that can address these things. So with the help of HPC systems, the researchers develop digital mode that are used to test the cardiovascular and implications of surgical procedures very efficiently. Similarly, another application you can see, which is the cancer treatment. This is also a very important point because in most of the countries, this disease is being raised again and too much. So this cancer treatment, this is a project which is being running under the University of Texas in Austin. So researchers at that university from even all over the world are using HPC to define the art of cancer treatment. So one important point, interesting project is researchers scan petabyte of data for correlation between a cancer patient and genome and the composition of their tumors. So another, you can see the big project, which is actually running by the NASA and the space search. So, out of space is totally unknown. So we must know that it raises a lot of questions. We must know that, is it inhabited by aliens? So if so, are they friendly? So probably and may not. So is it Mentoriate poised to collide the Earth and hit you personally? So more seriously, where did the universe come from? And to know all about these things, what's the weather like on the sun? So those questions are really major and implications for us earthlinging. So, but it takes a lot of resources when technology is surveyed to gather the data that is necessary to find answers about all these questions. So that's where modern route and HPC come in hand, that they make the more most of the information gleaned and probes and satellites. Another a big project, which is origin of everything. Researchers look for the clue in the universe, cosmic microwave background. So to manage the overload, research rely on Gordon supercomputer. This is actually the California-based project. So they are actually using the Gordon supercomputer system. That might sound bureaucratic, but to put in a more exciting way, so HPC could unlock the mysteries of the universe. Urban planning, this is also a very important project and being considered even in Pakistan as well, and in Middle East. It's very important project. So this is basically the concept to bring smartness in smart cities and urban areas. So many countries, like Japan and Korea, America, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, like these things, that they actually are have taken the initiatives and reserve a lot of funds under this theme. So even in Korea, there is a full-fledged complete city. I didn't remember its exact name, but they have renamed its urban-based planning new city. It's called Ubiquitous City. So under this theme, they have built, you can say it's a U city or ubiquitous city. So all those these programs are integrated environment, but are being handled by HPC systems. So you can get idea that how much HPC systems are important when we are talking about the big and large scale applications, even which are being used in our daily life. So this was just an overview of about the currently applications which are being used in our daily life. Now I will describe about little bit about the technologies which can be considered to achieve the HPC system or to enhance the HPC system. So basically HPC technology is leading to two major areas, is hardware and software technologies. And hardware technologies, previously if we see our the revolution in hardware technologies, that was started in single to multi-core systems, then multi-core to many-core systems. Then currently we have focused, our technologies are being focused on the very powerful and low power consumption technologies. So these are basically the advanced GPU technology and advanced many integrated core technologies. If we did talk about the GPU technologies, then definitely we are talking about a heterogeneous system where the traditional CPU cores and are collaborating with the advanced GPU technologies, then they are performing in parallel computing. So Intel also has introduced the new technologies like MIG, which is a many integrated core. So we can use the MIC also for the parallel computing and enhance the system performance. In contrast, if you see how we can increase the performance in HPC system, definitely we must have to go through and co-design architectures, because this is not a very simple and easy way to increase the performances and decrease the power consumption. So under this target, we must have to co-design our architecture. And also we have to consider the parallel computing. This is the way in which we can say that, okay, we can achieve the target of exascale computing system using parallel computing. Another is actually using the multiple hierarchies. Multiple hierarchy mean if we want to execute any application on any system, it depends on the system specification. System specification mean if either this is a cluster system or this is standalone. So based on the cluster system or the system or structure, we choose the hierarchy. Hierarchy means MPI plus any X factor, where X factor is any parallel computing model. That can be CUDA, that can be OpenACC, OpenMP, and OpenCL, OpenGL, like anything. So depend on the system structure. So we, sorry for interruption. So we must have to consider also these multiple hierarchies if we want to increase the performance of our system. So these are basically the HPC related technologies that can be considered to even which are also being considered under the umbrella of HPC to increase the performance of any supercomputer system. Okay, now let me give an introduction about what are the research directions that can be considered using the high performance computing system. So most of the students and most of the researchers are really confused, and they want to know that what technologies and what areas can be considered in HPC system. So first of all, and if we are saying the HPC system, then definitely implementation of parallel computing models. Parallel computing models means, as I told you in previous slide, that CUDA, OpenACC, OpenCL, like these parallel programming models can be considered to implement on real applications. Eventually, it will increase the performance of the system. The secondly is the auto-parallelization. This is also a very emerging area for the research, that how we can, although if we have implemented the parallel computing, then now the point is how we can make more advantage and beneficial for the researchers who are actually not familiar about the parallel computing and who don't know how to make the implementation of parallel computing. So we must have to provide the frameworks, the models that can auto-parallelize our serial code and generate the parallel computing code for the convenience of the researchers. Another point is toward massive parallel computing. As I told in first slide, that massive parallel computing is only the target for achieving the high performance computing. So we can find out this research area, that what kind of models can be used and which method can be used to increase the parallel computing. Either maybe we have to follow the hierarchy level, MPI plus X, or maybe trial level or hybrid level, any hierarchy. So we can consider this area as well. So another is the utilization of GPU make models optimization. So now how we can utilize these powerful devices and optimize our models, optimize our solutions, because getting the solution from by solving any problem is not the main concern. The main concern is how we can optimize our solution, how we can optimize the devices, the algorithms, by utilizing these powerful technologies. And also this is a very major concern in the countries where actually high performance computing systems are being used, which is reducing the power consumption while massive performance. Okay, our target is massive performance. As I told you in start that for exascale computing system, the performance level, required level is 10 raised to the power 18. Okay, the point is we can achieve this target by increasing the number of processors, by increasing the number of cores in the system. But point is how we can reduce the power consumption. You know, if we increase the conventional way of increasing the power, increasing the power of the system by increasing the number of cores. So around 10 million number of cores are required to achieve the exascale petaflops, exaflops, sorry. So if we are achieving exaflops, then the power consumption will be reached at 130 megawatt for a single system, which is even not affordable for any developed countries. So the target is to reduce the power consumption when we are achieving the massive performance. So also another thing is how we can implement the HPC systems on a large cluster systems, because this is actually the navigation from a traditional single to the large exascale computing system. So how we can achieve or implement our HPC systems when we are talking about the cluster systems. Eventually, if we are considering all these areas, then we can make the implementation in the well-known research areas like big data, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning algorithms. Even, for example, I am just giving an example. Let's say if anybody is working on machine learning, he can consider maybe CNN, he can implement auto-parallelization for the CNN. He can achieve the massive performance and the parallel computing for the CNN algorithm. So they can make the implementation. So these are basically the research direction for the students who actually can consider these for their final year projects and for their research as well. Anyhow, let me sum up my speech. HPC, you know, is the big field which is not even for a single domain. It can play a vital role in multiple domains as well. So if we are saying the HPC systems, what is the current target? Current target is to achieve the exascale computing system. For that, we must have to co-design, we must have to refine our models and refine the hardware systems as well. So definitely, if we are considering HPC system, then a lot of trainings and implementations are required. So this was actually all about today's speech. I would love if I receive any question or comment, and even anything related to this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very lovely to have you here today with us, and we're very honored to have you today with us. And thank you for sharing such valuable insights with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so if anyone don't have any questions, so shall we proceed to the next presentation? Dr. Abdul Hafiz, you have joined us right now. Dr. Abdul Hafiz, would you like to join us? You can begin your presentation.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. I am here, sir.
Okay, sure, sir. You can begin.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
So it would be in formal or informal way. I don't know how I have to represent this one, because I am a teacher and I'm not a researcher. Of course, I am a researcher. Just a little bit guide me that I have to give a lecture, or I have give talk, or to present my results. So kindly just because this is a new experience for our community. So based on your guidance, I will manipulate my presentation in that style.
Sir, it's up to you. You can present the way you want, but I think you should give a talk. Like it shouldn't be that formal. You can do whatever you want, like the way you're comfortable.
So let me share my screen with you.
Okay, sure.
So can you see my screen, sir?
Yes, sir, your screen is visible. Kindly, sir, convert it to full
Yeah,
screen.
I am
Yes,
doing that one.
yes,
Fine.
now it's perfect.
So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem. Myself is Dr. Abdul Hafiz, working as an assistant professor at Bahri University Lahore campus. So my talk is towards the very important and crucial, you can say, the issue of our technological education. That is the impact of AI, you can say the ICT on higher educations. And I am particularly working on ethical perspective. So here I would just love that after this presentation, if someone will join me to become the part of this project, which Alhamdulillah, my intention, my target. So here, the outlines of this presentation is, of course, first of all, I will give some briefing. I will give you some introduction about AI and ICT. So what is AI and what is ICT? Why I love this one? Because practically I am facing these issues, these challenges since 2000. I think I am working with ICT based system in education sector. I was teaching in Saudi Arabia, and there I taught fully online courses. Now I also working here in Bahria University, and same I am facing the problems which I faced there in Saudi Arabia towards ethics, towards the cheating, plagiarisms, and now here in because of COVID, even universities has, I mean, they have accepted or not, they have to teach through online ICT based mechanism, because no, even, you know, our conference is going on because of this COVID issues online. So we have to realize the issues related to ethics, morality, and you can say related to these things. So my presentation will be not so, you can say, lengthy. Just I want to realize my message. I want to realize my consideration towards the ethics in ICT. So first of all, uh, some definitions will be presented. Then I will share my results of 2 Delphi studies, which I have conducted and which are ongoing projects. Results will be shared with you, recommendations will be provided, and some suggestions will be received from you people. Then ethical consideration of educations and some concluding messages will be provided at the end. Fine. You are here in ICT platform, so everyone knows very well that what is ICT and what is AI. The people, maybe some students I am observing here, some students are also here. So for them, it is very necessary to discuss, to tell them that AI is an ability and development of ICT based system to complete the tasks that usually require human intelligence and logical deduction. Here we have to keep in mind that ICT further have replaced, ICT has become now the part and parcel of our education system, and now AI is also become the part of our lives, whether we accept, whether we not accept, whether we know, whether we don't know, that ICT and as well as the AI have become the part and parcels of our life. In education system, later in the next slide I will tell you, in education system it is helping too much, it is as also it is disturbing too much. How it is disturbing, how it is helping, we will tell you in the later status. So here we must keep in our mind that if we are talking about the AI, the human touch is going to be diminishing. The human, you can say, the working method, the human mean how the people do this one, how the people, people work has been replaced by the machines. In simple, AI is doing this thing. Here, if I talk about the AI and machines, I said the AI machines. Here, I want a very important, you can say, the message, very important verses, very important, you can say, the wordings of our Sir Allama Iqbal. Allama Iqbal said in his poetry about these type of things, which I am discussing in coming slides, that है दिल के लिए मौत मशीनों की हुकूमत, इकबाल ने फरमाया था, है दिल के लिए मौत मशीनों की हुकूमत, एहसास मुरव्वत को कुचल देते हैं आलात. I mean that we are using the tools and technologies. We should keep in mind that you can say the शेर वो जो इकबाल ने कहा था कि एहसास मुरव्वत को कुचल देते हैं हालात, कि कहीं ऐसा ना हो जाए कि हमारे जो एहसासात हैं वो कुचल ना जाएं. So we should keep, so my intention, my theme of this presentation is we have to keep the ethics, the morality in our ICT based education. So the next slide is AI and higher educations. Here the focus or agenda of my presentation is not towards that. I am not discussing how AI is impacting the higher educations. There are a lot of research. Directly I will come towards my results, my discussions, but we already said that we have to accept that AI is increasingly developing the universities around the world, and it is the future of our university education. Companies like Facebook, Amazon, and Google's are investing too much. They are investing the millions of dollars to develop the AI educations. We know very well AI-based system, AI-based systems we are using in our universities and in European universities. Of course, most of the universities are totally dependent on AI-based education. So here we should not deny the importance of AI in our higher education system. So what is my intention? Because of seeing the importance of AI in higher educations, I conduct a Delphi study. Sorry, here is a typo mistake. Delphi study. I conducted a Delphi study where the experts were chosen from the Pakistan, India, KSA, and Malaysia. And here I want to tell you, these all are Malaysians. Sorry, are even Malaysians. They are based from India or Pakistan. So this study focused on our current systems, our Indo-Pak system. Even in India, in KSA or Malaysia, all experts are from Indo-Pak. They belong to either India or Pakistan, but working in Saudi Arabia or Malaysia or in Pakistan as well as in India. So they all are masters, or most of them were PhD. They have experience of industry as well as the university teaching, ICT based educations. They know very well about the AI. They know very well about the ethics because they are academics. They know very well about the future of AI, and they know very well about the higher educations of our Pakistan, India. So my results will be helpful for Pakistan industry, for Pakistan education system, for Pakistan higher education, and of course, as well as the Indo-Pak, Saudi Arabia, as well as the India can get the benefit from my results. So dear, here I conducted 3-phase Delphi study. I asked them about that how AI is impacting on our education system with respect to opportunities as well as the threats. I conducted SWOT analysis as well, mean strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I asked them some started the study with open-ended questions. Then I narrowed down my results. Here, the results about the student-teacher opportunities were, or you can say the strengths were, AI can help us in teaching as well as in learning by assisting some tools like RoboTA in teaching assistant that can help in automatic checking in assignments, quizzes, and grading. The universities, Stanford universities, Oxford universities, they are already using these types of teaching assistant, AI-based teaching assistant. But these, just I asked them that either these tools can be helpful in our system or not. So they already, these are the results. They all were agreed that sure, these tools, mean AI-based tools, can help. AI tools can help in our instruction system. AI tools can be used in our smart content. This is the point, that AI tools or AI or ICT can be helpful in our contents, mean which we are studying to our students, either in the form of digital book, either in the form of notes, either in the form of, you can say, in any type of instructions. Mean AI can be helpful. They are also they also mean they were agreed upon that it also helps in special students, our disabled students or weak students, but like personalized learning. Mean if we discuss these things, our direction of presentations will be another side. So just I am sharing my results, that how AI is helping our students and teachers. It can help in discussions board and communications. It can help in the research skills by creating the collaborative environment, and it can also help in, you can say, in teaching and learning activities of students as well as the teacher. So also it also mean the results were also, these are the factors actually which I concluded. There were 17 or 18 factors which I summarized, I filtered, then I made some factor analysis, some ASP techniques, mean some statistical tools that are the part of my big project. Just I am telling you here the results. Also, AI tools or AI can help in our managerial activities like documentation and record keeping. Mean these AI can also help the administrative works. Our education universities can help, our management staff can help in documentation, record keeping. They can also help in timetable generation, room allocation, which we are facing the problem in our universities. Admission campaign, which is the need of our time, can also be productive, can also be fruitful with AI systems. And also we can monitor the performance of our employees. We can check, we can give the reward based on AI systems. So AI tools can also help in providing the consultancy and career counseling using predictions. So either we accept or not, these are some findings, first step findings of our education experts who knows the system of India, who knows the system of Pakistan, who knows the system of our Indo-Par, that how AI, although there are some infrastructures problem, also some you can say some cost and whatever the problems we have, but they all agreed that these AI can help. So we can use AI tools, we can get the benefits of AI by incorporating the ICT and AI in our education system. Are you getting me, sir? Sir, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. Please continue it.
Fine. So also I asked to the experts that please share your experiences towards the challenging, which are the threats, which can be the problems in our education system. They said that although there are many advantages, but if we want to accept, we must accept the challenge of AI in education system, that we must have some skilled and professional resources. So based on if we want to integrate, if want to, you can say, if we want to incorporate the AI in our education system, we must have some educational skilled professionals. And most of the employees are reluctant to adopt AI due to fear of their job and guarantee. Of course, this is the fact. There are a lot of studies which are showing that many robots will come and robots will replace the human. Our job market will be, you can say, the persons will seek the job. But we must keep in mind that who will prepare the robot, who will prepare the, you can say, the automatic system. This I will, when I will conclude our finding, I will you can say, reconcile, I will, you can say, the recall these points. They also said that there's a lack of trust, reliability that AI tools will be provide. We cannot guarantee that AI will help 100% in our system that a traditional setup helps. They also pointed some security issues, that AI has some security issues. And the most concerning things which discussed almost all the educationists, that there is a lack of ethics, there's a lack of, you can say, the most of teachers are reluctant to adopt AI tools in their education system to inculcate the ethical and moral values through human interaction in, you can say, the education system. They said that teachers cannot replace, teachers cannot, you can say, only and only the teacher are the person, teacher are the personality, you can say, the machines never can be replaced the teacher to incorporate the ethics, to incorporate the moral values. These are the findings of their point of view. Also, when particularly in another phase, when I asked them that what are the ethical impacts based on this point, I also conducted the study on these teachers, that how ethical impact of ICT based education. They also said, in proceeding this last point, that there is a lack of learning environment of teachers with the students, causing ethical dilemma. You know very well, most of our students are doing, you can say, this is the fact. Even myself, you also practiced, everyone is practicing, that they are cheating, they are violating the academic integrity, they are, you can say, copying and pasting. So there's a lack of learning environment. Teachers are unable to catch their unethical activities. Also, there's a lack of counseling and policies which encourages flexible and independent learning environment, causing ethical dilemma. So ethics mean why the teachers, even why the students are doing unethical activities, why they are violating the academic integrity, why they are, because they don't know the policies, they don't have the counseling. Even we are now, in almost all universities of the Pakistan, online teaching e-courses are being taught, but with due respects, there are no policies for online teaching, there are no policies for automatic assessment, there are no policies, even there are no counseling. In traditional setup, we can counsel the students face to face, But in online education, in ICT-based educations, in AI educations, in AI systems, we have lack of counseling and educational policies. These are the findings of our system. These are the not findings of Europe, and you can say the German, or you can say the UK. These are the findings of our education system of Pakistan and India. So lack of awareness and ethical and morality among the teachers and students. Believe me, this is the problem. The teacher who have got the degree from ICT based educations, who got the degree in through e-learning, who got the degree without, you can say, through technologies, how he or she will teach the ethics, how he or she will teach the morality. So there is the main problem said by our experts, that teachers as well as the students they don't know the ethical and moral awareness. What is right, what is wrong, they don't know. Believe me, this is very sensitive issue. We are producing the graduate, we are producing the students who have, believe me, we are preparing the robots which are facing, which are, you can say, the ethical issues. When they will come in the market, they don't know how to teach, how to behave, how to act professionally. They have skills, they have skills. I know they have very ICT based skills, they have mathematics, they have English, they have computer science skills, but they don't have the ethical skills, they don't have the moral skills, they don't have the human skills. So this is the objective of higher educations, to produce the graduate having having professional skills as well as the moral and ethical skills. So believe me, these results are very, you can say, the heart touching. These are just, these are not the internet results. In internet, the internet is full of, you can say, discussing these things, but practically I found the issues from our experts. They said, believe me, here I want to share. I don't know whether I have put this point in my presentation or not. I was studying, I was reading the article yesterday or before yesterday, that only 2 out of 142, sir, 2 out of 142 research papers about AI and ethics, about ICT and ethics regarding education system, only 2 out of 142 have discussed the ethical issues regarding AI based education, regarding ICT based education. So this is an alarming point, not only for the Europe, not only they care about, sir, we are here in Pakistan, we are here, we want to produce a graduate that survive in the society. We don't want to produce the graduate like machines. We have some norms, we have some values, we have some system. So we must, I mean, these results are very alarming for us. So what I want, I'm not saying other things, the discussion can be prolonged. I don't want to take too much time of audience, because I know maybe they are getting bored. Since morning they are with me, or they are with other audience. So these are unbiased results which I want to share with you, and these are important for society, and how this technology can be helpful or harmful to our society, particularly in our society. We know that misuse of ICT and AI have become cause of concern, catalyzing the demands to establish ethical standards and regulatory parameters. Now, academia, researchers, and associations like IEEE should play an important role. For what? For developing the policies, for developing the frameworks, for developing the research tools, for developing the AI-based tools, as we already know that our systems can be helpful. AI can be helpful in research. AI helpful can in teaching. So we should produce the graduates which at least know the ethics and morality of education. After getting, so these are also the concluding remarks. As we have also seen the results that human touch is in education system is going to be diminishing. So we must know that how we can compensate the diminishing role of teacher in our education system for developing moral and social skills, for developing moral and social values in our students. It is expected that students is desired to get the degree only. This is the fact. 90% or 99%, this is my finding, 90% of students want only degree because they want to capture the market, but also they want to live in the market. You know, very famous the story of Dr. Juma Khan of Karachi. Here I don't want to discuss that story, that he was a professional doctor and his son died from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His son died because of his immorality. Dr. Juma, I want to quote his name here, of Karachi. His son died because if someone want to take to listen this story, he can just Google it. Dr. Juma, professional doctor, automatically the story will come. So because of unethical practices, his son was died because he or she is you can say someone did not taught to Dr. Jumma that when you will come in the market, your skills will count, but your social and your moral and ethical values will also count too much. So it is therefore suggested that an education institution interested in embarking AI or ICT based education, they must look the questions or the findings which we have found to develop the framework where these questions are answered positively. So gentlemen, this is just a message from me. I need your suggestions. I need your coordination to become the part of this project. Just I shared here my findings. I did not share the literature. I didn't share the opportunities in literature. I just shared my feelings, you can say the concern. We are working a team in Bahia University, Lahore campus, developing tools, developing systems, developing frameworks to incorporate the ethics, particularly in ICT-based educations. But some teachers, your help can also helpful to integrate, to develop the tools, AI-based tools to develop ethics and morality in our education system. I am really thankful for listening me. I need your suggestions. I need your cooperation. You can get my email ID from the representative of the this research, and you can contact me. Thank you very much. Fi aman Allah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for a valuable talk for the second session. The last session, closing session of the conference will be start shortly, and we will provide the link on the resources available to our audience. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.